Ferrari. The prancing horse on every Ferrari badge didn't originally belong to the brand at all. It was borrowed from Italian World War I flying ace Francesco Baracca, who had it painted on the side of his fighter plane as a personal emblem. After Baracca was killed in combat, his parents met Enzo Ferrari at a race in 1923 and suggested he use the symbol for good luck, believing it would bring the same fortune to his cars. Ferrari added it to a yellow shield, since yellow is the official color of his hometown of Modena, and placed the Italian tricolor stripe across the top as a mark of national pride. The horse itself is shown standing upright with its tail raised, a pose historically associated with strength and nobility rather than aggression. To this day, the exact reason Baracca chose a horse in the first place is disputed, with some accounts linking it to a cavalry regiment and others treating it as pure coincidence. Lamborghini. The raging bull on Lamborghini's badge is a direct reflection of founder Ferruccio Lamborghini's own zodiac sign, since he was born under Taurus and was known to be genuinely obsessed with bullfighting. According to the most repeated version of the story, Lamborghini visited a famous Spanish bull breeder named Don Eduardo Mura and was so impressed by the fighting bulls raised there that he decided to name both his company's emblem and several of his cars after the breed. Many Lamborghini models are in fact named directly after breeds of fighting bulls or famous individual bulls, including the Mura, the Islero, and the Aventador. The rivalry between Lamborghini and Ferrari is baked directly into the logo's origin, since Ferruccio reportedly started his car company partly out of frustration after Enzo Ferrari dismissed his complaints about a faulty Ferrari clutch. The bull itself is rendered charging forward with lowered horns, a deliberately more aggressive stance than Ferrari's poised, standing horse. BMW. Despite one of the most persistent myths in automotive history, the blue and white quarters on the BMW logo are not a stylized spinning airplane propeller, even though the company did begin as an aircraft engine manufacturer in 1916. BMW itself has confirmed the logo is simply derived from the blue and white checkered pattern of the flag of Bavaria, the German state where the company was founded, representing regional pride rather than any aviation reference. The propeller myth only became popular decades after the logo was created, largely through later advertising that leaned into the aviation connection without historical grounding in the original design. The circular badge, sometimes called a roundel, has remained essentially unchanged in structure since the 1920s, even as the surrounding ring and typography were refined over time. BMW itself stands for Bayerische Motorenwerke, which translates to Bavarian Motor Works, directly naming both the company's origin and its founding purpose. Mercedes-Benz. The three-pointed star at the center of the Mercedes-Benz badge was designed to represent the company's ambition to dominate on land, on water, and in the air, reflecting an early 20th century vision of universal motorization. The symbol actually predates the Mercedes-Benz name itself, originally sketched by engineer Gottlieb Daimler on a postcard to his wife decades before the two companies, Daimler and Benz, formally merged in 1926. The surrounding laurel wreath seen on many older badges was inherited from the separate Benz company logo, symbolizing victory and success in early automobile racing. The name Mercedes has nothing to do with automotive engineering at all. It comes from the daughter of an Austrian businessman and racing enthusiast named Emil Jelinek, who requested that cars he helped sell be named after her. Jelinek was such an influential early customer and dealer that Daimler agreed, and the name eventually replaced the original Daimler branding entirely on production vehicles. Audi. The four interlocking rings on the Audi logo represent the 1932 merger of four previously independent German car manufacturers, Audi, DKW, Horch, and Wanderer, collectively known at the time as Auto Union. Each ring was originally meant to represent one of the four founding companies equally, rather than any single brand being dominant within the group. The name Audi itself has an unusual origin, since it's actually the Latin translation of the surname of founder August Horch, whose name literally means listen in German, translated directly into the Latin equivalent Audi. This substitution happened because Horch had already started a company under his own name, and after a legal dispute over trademark rights, he was forced to found a second company under a different name while keeping the same underlying meaning intact. The Four Rings badge nearly disappeared during World War II, when Auto Union's factories were dismantled, and it wasn't formally revived as the modern Audi brand until the 1960s. Peugeot. The lion on the Peugeot badge has been part of the brand's identity since 1847, making it one of the oldest continuously used car logos still in existence today, predating the automobile itself by decades. The symbol was originally created for Peugeot's saw blades, not cars, chosen specifically because a lion's teeth were meant to represent the strength and sharpness of the steel used in the blades, while its supple spine reflected flexibility. When Peugeot moved into bicycle and later automobile manufacturing, the Lion came along with it, evolving in style dozens of times over the decades while keeping the same basic pose and meaning. The design has shifted from a highly detailed, almost photorealistic Lion in the early 1900s to the flatter, more abstract silhouette used today. Peugeot's home region of Franche-Comté in eastern France has historically used a lion as a heraldic symbol, giving the choice an additional regional layer of meaning beyond the saw blade origin story. Volkswagen. The name Volkswagen translates directly from German as people's car, and the company was founded in 1937 specifically to produce an affordable vehicle that ordinary German families could realistically own. The interlocking V and W in the logo simply stand for the initials of the company name, arranged inside a circle in a design that has remained recognizably similar since the badge's earliest versions. The original Volkswagen Beetle, the car the entire brand identity was built around, was engineered under a government-backed program before the war and only became a global commercial success afterward under very different ownership and circumstances. Because of the company's origins under Germany's Nazi-era government, Volkswagen has been notably transparent about this period of its history in official company materials, rather than omitting it. The Beetle went on to become one of the best-selling car models in history, produced continuously in various forms for over 6 decades. Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo badge combines 2 separate historical symbols from the city of Milan, split down the center into 2 distinct halves. On the left is the Red Cross of Milan, taken directly from the city's own coat of arms and used as a symbol of the city since medieval times. On the right is the Biscione, a crowned serpent shown devouring a human figure, an emblem tied to the powerful Visconti family who ruled Milan for centuries, starting in the 1200s. The unsettling image of the serpent eating a person has several competing legend-based explanations, including one version claiming it depicts a Visconti ancestor slaying a giant, distorted over generations into the swallowing pose seen today. Alfa itself stands for Anonima Lombarda Fabbrica Automobili, an Italian phrase referring to the original company's legal structure and Lombard regional identity, while Romeo was added later after entrepreneur Nicola Romeo took over the struggling company in 1915. Porsche. The crest at the center of every Porsche badge is actually a direct copy of the official coat of arms of the Free People's State of Württemberg, the German region where the company is headquartered in Stuttgart. The black horse standing in the middle of the shield comes specifically from Stuttgart's own city emblem, and it's not a random choice, since the city's name is believed to derive from the old German word for a stud farm or horse breeding ground. Ferdinand Porsche's son, Ferry Porsche, reportedly sketched the first version of the badge himself on a napkin after a customer in New York suggested the company needed something more official than plain lettering on the nose of the car. The red and black stripes framing the horse were taken directly from the Württemberg flag, tying the entire design back to regional heritage rather than anything automotive. Since its introduction in 1952, the crest has stayed remarkably close to that original napkin sketch, with only minor stylistic updates over the decades. Citroën. The double chevron on every Citroën badge has nothing to do with wings, arrows, or speed, despite how often it gets mistaken for one of those. It actually represents a type of gear tooth, specifically a herringbone gear, which founder André Citroën manufactured before he ever built a single car. Citroën discovered the gear design while traveling in Poland, bought the patent rights, and built his early fortune manufacturing these gears for industrial machinery across Europe. When he moved into automobile production in 1919, he kept the 2-angled chevrons as his company's badge,